Causes of precipitation. Today we are going to speak about the precipitation, the types of the precipitation. We are in hydrology class and this is Dr. Sami Goren. Causes of precipitation. Literally, cyclones create atmospheric instability and the lapse rate increase near the Earth's surface increase rapidly. Lighter air rises by convection, potentially causing convective precipitation. In convectional precipitation, the main element is thermal convection of the moisture-laden air. Source of heat is only the solar radiation. We have the sun as a source of heat, and it is solar radiation. It heats the major portion of the earth. Air, when comes into a low pressure atmospheric system, also creates convectional precipitation. Now here are the types of the precipitations. Number 1, convectional. Number 2, orographic, and cyclonic. Actually, these are the types of the precipitation according to the lifting mechanism. Lifting mechanism of the water vapor to cause cloud. Let's start with the convectional precipitation. And from the figures we can understand that when the earth becomes heated because of the solar energy, the air is increased because of the solar energy, and when the warm air deflected from a landform rises and forms rain clouds. And convectional rainfall is very common in tropical areas as well as areas in the southeastern England. When the moist air rises because of the solar energy, because of the heated ground surface, they rise and form a cloud. And in the atmosphere, the upper parts are cooler than the earth. So at the cooler layer of the atmosphere, the water molecules or water moisture become condensed, and then return to the earth as a rain. Return to earth as a rain. And this is a type of precipitation. If the layer is more cold, then the precipitation will become as ice, which we call snow. The tropical areas are shown in this figure with the red color. And these are the South America, south part of the Africa, but of course not the whole south, let's say mid part of Africa, and the Far East or eastern part and southern part of Asia. These places are called as tropical areas, and they are subjected to tropical rains that we just explained, they are called as convectional precipitation because the Earth's effect is too much in this area. And from this legend, from these colors, you can understand whether it is dry or mild climate or the polar climate, etc. You can understand from this world map. When the sun's warm rays heat the land, it also heat the air and also the ground. This is number one. Yes, let's say this is our sun. Because of the sunlight, this land is also heated, and the air here is also heated, and then they travel up. Here, as number two, the warm air rises. And during this rising, from the color you can understand red is hot and blue is cool, or in some cases cold. So this warm air will cool, and with the cooling process, condensation starts, and this condensation forms the clouds to produce the rain, to produce the precipitation. The type of clouds formed during the convection process are known as cumulonimbus clouds. Name of these clouds are cumulonimbus clouds. The storms caused by the convection process are known as air mass storms, and they only cover a small portion of land because most of them have vertical movement, and frontal thunderstorms will affect a much larger region because they give the ability to move in the lateral direction, in the horizontal direction. Here is a simple graphic or animation that shows us how the sun works for this precipitation. The sun heats the ground and the air, and the warmer air rise up, and after a certain level, which we call dew point, the air starts to cool and condenses the water drops or water vapors, and they form cloud. Number two, the second type of the rain is orographic precipitation. Moisture-laden air masses are lifted by contact with the orographic barrier, and it occurs expansion and condensation. In the first type, remember, the clouds are formed, or the water vapor is transported because of the hot air, because of the heat, because of the sun energy. But now in this case, if we have an orographic barrier, it means that which we have, for example, a high mountain. And let's suppose that there is a wind here, a gentle wind, that moves the air with the water vapor, and normally they move in this direction, but when they touch to the mountain, there's no way to go more. So in that case, they start to rise. They start to increase their height. So same as the first phenomena, when the water vapor increased, the cooler zone started, and the clouds are formed by the condensation of the water vapors. And this mountain is a very high mountain that the clouds cannot overcome, cannot pass through. During this surface, at this surface of the mountain, the cloud becomes heavy enough and the rain starts, the precipitation starts. The water droplets become large enough to fall down. And even the wind continues, the cloud cannot go here, or when some part of the cloud goes there, there is no rain in this surface, in this region. So, for example, from this figure you can understand this is colored by brown, which means there is no green, no greenery, no trees or plants on this side. All the plants grow here because of the good water, because of the enough water to be fertilized and to have the suitable atmosphere, suitable environment to grow up. This type of precipitation, orographic precipitation, is most pronounced on the windward side of the mountain. Yes, it means the wind is coming from this side. Mainly the representative wind comes from this side. And generally heaviest precipitation occurs where favorable orographic effects are present. Because of this orographic effect means huge mountains, high mountains like this. So this side always green because of the enough water. When even the small parts of the clouds go to this direction, unfortunately there is no rain. Heaviest precipitation in the subcontinent occurs along the southern part of Himalaya and its other ranges. As you know, Mount Himalaya is mid part of Asia, and it has border to many countries like Pakistan, India, China, and Nepal, Bhutan, some parts of Bangladesh maybe. So in these regions, these orographic precipitation is too much. And there is another name as monsoon rainfall for these, especially in these areas or southern part of the Asia or India, decrease gradually as the distance from the line of heaviest rainfall, and this happens usually from June to October. And these precipitations comes with typhoon, with strong winds. Now it's time to study the number 3, the third type of precipitation. It is cyclonic precipitation. Precipitation in plain regions, in the places where not too many mountains exist, we usually see these kind of cyclonic precipitation. Precipitation in plain regions is generally cyclonic in character, and depending upon whether they occur within or beyond the tropics, it is divided into further 2 steps: tropical and extratropical. The precipitation is usually in the Indo-Pac subcontinent, again in the mid part of Asia, in the tropical area, tropical variety, in warm maritime air mass of low altitude in high temperature tropic cyclones are violent storms formed. These are known as typhoons or cyclones. Of course, in some cases, the monsoon air is accompanied by the typhoon. But here the phenomena, how the rain, how the precipitation happen, as you can see from this figure, that warm air is in the motion with a gentle wind, and from the other side, according to the climate or by different reasons, if the cold wind, cold air comes, when the warm and cold air meets, of course the warm air increases because it has lighter density compared with the cold air. And at that time, again, you know, from the beginning, we know that the clouds are formed, and when the water vapors are condensed because of the because we have cool air at the high places of the atmosphere, the clouds become heavy enough to send the rain. So in this case, the clouds rising effect is not the sun and not the mountain or orographic barrier. The reason is only meeting of collapsing of warm and cold air. And when the warm air rises up, they cause rain. Cyclonic rainfall, also known as frontal rain, it has another name as frontal rain, is caused when 2 air masses of different temperatures meet. 2 air mass of different temperature. And of course, warm and cool air don't mix, as they have different densities, and the warm air rises up over the heavier cool air, and it cools and creates a front, clouds form and produce rain. In the center of the cyclonic storm, there is small low pressure air. The isobars around such a low pressure are very nearly circular in shape and generally greater than the extratropical cyclones. Tropical cyclones have an average diameter of over 300 to 400 miles, and the wind speed around cyclones may be as high as 60 to 90 miles per hour. In September, October and November, these storms are very destructive, especially in Bangladesh and at those nearby regions, and cause of considerable loss of life and property, unfortunately, over the coastal districts. Yes, these are the types of the precipitation, and hope to see you at the next lesson.